Good morning. Hello. How are we all today? Please give me a live if you're watching this live, and please give me a hashtag replay if you're watching this on the replay. Sorry about that. Literally just testing the stream. So today is the last day of 2024. Give me a goodbye 2024. Hashtag goodbye 2024 if you are ready to wave goodbye to this year. And give me a hello 2025 if you are excited to see what next year is going to bring for you and your TTC journey. For anyone new around here, good morning, hello. I am Claire Innes and I am founder of the Fertility Mentor. And I am around these here parts fairly regularly answering questions about fertility, particularly when it comes to egg quality, particularly when it comes to nutrition, mindset, how to keep it all going, how to not get too down on ourselves. And it's my pleasure, my absolute pleasure to be here with you today on this New Year's Eve morning in a very blustery and windy Glasgow. So blustery and windy, in fact, that we have had weather warnings. The massive celebrations that usually take place in Edinburgh have been cancelled because the wind is so wild, and it just feels very appropriate for a Scottish dark New Year's Eve. So please, if you're watching this live, tell me where you are in the world and tell me what time it is. I'm always interested to know, and let me know what the weather's like. So this live is somewhat planned and somewhat unplanned. This live has came about from reading lots of comments in the various groups over the kind of Christmas period, but also just through the conversations that I have with my clients year on year at this time of year. So particularly when you're trying to conceive, actually whether you're trying to conceive or not, Hogmanay or New Year's Eve is a very contemplative time, isn't it? It's a time when we reflect on the year that we've had and we start to think about the sort of year that we want to have next year and what will make us feel really, really good about ourselves this time next year. Now, anyone watching this live or in this group or following this Instagram account is trying to conceive. And the chances are that if you are watching this video, you have had a pretty shitty year. So the first thing I wanted to do was just hold space and ask each other to hold space for each other. If you thought that you would be in a different position right now, if you thought that you would have a baby in your arms right now, or if you hoped with everything in you that you would have a safe, healthy baby in your tummy right now. Perhaps you've lost a pregnancy this year. Perhaps you've lost a child or children this year. And before we move any further into this call, I just want to say that I see you and I care for you, and I'm sorry that this has happened to you this year. It is fucking shit, and you don't deserve it. And I'm not going to offer you any, you know, anything that's going to trigger you, basically, any kind of false positivity. It is shit, and you deserve time to feel sad for yourself and for your child and for the future that you thought you were going to have that you're probably mourning right now. And that can be quite difficult to talk about. And that's one of the reasons I'm doing it just now, because a lot of you are probably waking up today having these thoughts and thinking that you're the only one thinking this and feeling really alone, feeling really isolated. But I promise you, I absolutely promise you with everything in me that you're not the only person waking up this morning feeling this way. Not that that's particularly going to offer you any comfort, but the way you feel is valid. And your baby mattered, your pregnancy mattered, you matter, and your feelings matter. Okay? So I'm not going to I'm not going to hang around this much other than to take a moment to tell you that I see you and that I care for you. And let's get going. So round about this time of the year, it's very normal also for us to start goal setting, isn't it? We've maybe overindulged a bit over Christmas between the parties and the chocolate and the meals, and we're feeling a bit sluggish. And we start to tell ourselves these things like, I'm going to join the gym. I'm going to eat clean 100% of the time. Next year's going to be different. And the reason next year's going to be different is that I'm going to make it different. And I absolutely, absolutely applaud that. But what I'm here to tell you, as someone who has worked in behaviour change for many, many years and has worked with a lot of women who are looking to fall pregnant, manage their menopause, even just straight up reduce their BMI, I have a lot of experience with goal setting, and I'm here to tell you, please, please, please make 2 sets of goals. If you want to be a size 12 at this time next year, if you want to wake up on this day next year and say, yes, I have consistently taken my supplements, yes, I have consistently improved my protein, please treat these things as longer term goals. Because I promise you, you are not going to wake up tomorrow and it's just going to be easy to do these things because you've said today that you're going to do them. So let's learn from human behavior. Let's learn from our own past mistakes and our own past successes and have a set of long-term goals, which is likely to be, the bigger things here, changing our behaviors, changing our workout routine, changing the way that we eat. These are all big. These are macro. Alongside the big and the macro, please have a very logical, very specific set of shorter term goals, micro goals. Okay, I'm a nutrition person. I cannot get through a sentence without talking about macro and micro. Macro means big, micro means small. So if we want to be sitting here this time next year feeling much, much healthier, eating better, drinking better, tomorrow or today, pick one small thing within that. Okay, because it's repeating these tiny, tiny, tiny behaviors that adds up to massive change. Okay, so if you want to feel much more healthy, have, a thicker uterine lining, be eating more healthily, digesting better, a healthier gut, my suggestion to you is for the next 2 weeks, simply focus on drinking a specific amount of water every day. Now, I hear what you're saying. That is boring as shit when you want to order all the Under Armour, the Lululemons, and join the gym. Do those things too, but please send your energy towards consistently doing the small thing. Okay? Send your energy towards consistently doing one very specific, very small thing. Doesn't need to be water, but for a lot of us, we want to spend a fortune on the Zeta West supplements and join the gym, but we're not doing the most basic, easy thing that we can do in hydrating ourselves. So let's make it easy on ourselves. Let's work on the boring things as a priority, please, girls, okay? If you are consuming 1 cup of water a day, give yourself a target to consume 1 litre. If you're consuming 2 litres a day, give yourself a target to consume 3 litres. And at the end of every day, give yourself a pat on the back for doing it. Because here's what happens when we try to go too big too soon. We wake up, we say, I'm going to eat clean, I'm going to go to the gym. And we probably have about 4 days of doing that really, really well. And then life starts to happen, doesn't it? Especially January. It's pissing down outside. It's dark all the time. We're back at work. We're running. Oh, we just can't. We're knackered. We are absolutely knackered. So we let one thing fall and then another thing falls. And before you know it, we're 2 weeks in and we're back to exactly the same place we were at Think about a different story where we just treat ourselves with a bit of grace and a bit of kindness and say, okay, I'm going to work on one thing that's going to lead to this macro goal. This one thing might be that I'm going to focus solely on taking my supplements consistently. To do this, I'm going to set a timer on my phone. I'm going to leave them out on the unit, even though it being sitting there, it looks untidy, it does my head in. I'm going to do these things. Okay? And then after a week, instead of feeling shitty about ourselves for not doing everything perfectly, imagine we feel proud of ourselves for doing that small thing really, really well. And we take a minute to pat ourselves on the back and we think, right, I'm feeling galvanized, I'm feeling proud of myself. I've embedded this habit, I'm ready to add something else in. So maybe at that point, we add in a session at the gym. Not 3, not 4, 1. And we do that for a week as well as what we did the week before. This is us building on our habits. This is how to get consistent results. And this is how to consistently feel proud of ourselves instead of regularly feeling shitty about ourselves. Okay? So I urge anyone watching this to please share in the comments your macro goals. Macro means big, so there shouldn't be any more than 3, possibly 4 of them, and they should all be things that you're in control of. I get it. If you're watching this, you want to be either pregnant or holding a baby this time next year. I know that, but you are not completely in control of that. So make your macro goals things that you are completely in control of. By this time next year, by this time at the end of the second half of the year, I want to be consistently training 3 times a week. I want to be having protein with every meal. I want to feel really confident in my mindset and mental health decisions. And then for each of them, just choose one micro thing. One micro thing that you know without a doubt that you can do. And that's what I want you to work on when you wake up tomorrow and the next day and the next day. And make sure you regularly take time, and you can do it in this group as well. You can do it on this page. Take time to check in with yourself. I did this week. I'm so proud of myself. I did this to about 80% this week, which I'm really happy about, but I know I can do better next week. The thing I'm going to change next week to make it better is da. Okay? The next thing I want to talk about is a little bit contentious, but this is a comment that came up in one of the groups that I run, one of the groups that I help to run. And it was a comment from a woman who has had a really, really difficult year. She had a baby, she lost a baby that was born with fetal alcohol syndrome. And in this comment, this woman with the absolute best of intentions was calling out to anyone in the group not to even consider having even a single drink for the new year. And I just wanted to put out there that I don't particularly agree with this. Yes, there isn't a safe amount of alcohol when it comes to fetal alcohol syndrome. It's not studied enough, and that's the point. We do not have enough studies of it. What we do know, though, is that if you are brand newly pregnant, or if you're not pregnant yet, the fetus isn't going to be feeding off of you until the first, can't remember how long it is, I can't remember if it's 12 weeks. It's certainly not going to be in the first couple of weeks. There isn't anything to say that one glass of champagne as the ball drops or one cheeky bottle of beer is going to do any harm. I have actually in the past suggested to my clients go out and have a cocktail and let loose. All right. And I am a fertility coach. I've been featured in television a few times this year. I have had a lot of success in getting women pregnant. So it definitely is a case of to each their own. If you are drinking too much and you think that's a problem, then you're probably not who I'm talking to right now. But if you are someone who hasn't let loose in a long time, who's done everything right and really, really fancies having one glass of wine tonight to look forward to the year ahead and to raise a glass to the things that didn't go as well as they thought they would this year, then please do not rack yourself with guilt. Okay? That guilt and that stress that you are going to give to yourself is probably going to do substantially more damage to your TTC journey than that one glass of wine or that one espresso martini. What I always say to my paying clients is if you are planning on having a drink, decide before you go out, while you're feeling good, while you are sober, decide what is acceptable for you. Okay? And then stick to that. And then you will know that you'll wake up the next morning feeling proud of yourself, knowing that you stuck to that plan. I am not going to put a carte blanche amount out to anyone or anything. That's not my place. You decide yourself what is acceptable. And then while you're out, you enjoy it, you relax, you have a brilliant time, and you follow your own plan that sober, level headed you decided was okay. And then you wake up tomorrow morning and you feel proud of yourself for sticking to that plan. Drink the water, take the steps, do the things. All right? So please, I beg of you, this is a very, very, very triggering time. I beg of all of us here to please be careful not to trigger other people. And please, please, please just protect your own environment, protect your own energy. And I say this all the time, but do not hesitate to unfollow me. See if my content is triggering you right now. Come out of this. I'm here for you. I want what's best for you. So if my content is triggering you, please unfollow me. You're welcome back anytime at all. But if this isn't helping you, I truly, truly, truly want what's best for you and what you need right now. Next, I want to move on to something that comes up really often when we're spending time with friends and family. These very, very insensitive, intrusive questions. When are you going to make your mum a gran? When's it your turn? Why do you not have children yet? When, why, what? Okay, let's just get it out right now. Whether they mean it or not, how insensitive is that? What sort of society have we come from where it is acceptable to ask someone when they're having children or why you haven't had children yet? And it really does seem to be accepted in society. The old schoolers seem to love it. Why haven't you given your mum grandchildren yet? When are you going to be doing that? Oh, are you not drinking because you're having a baby? It's very, very, very insensitive. And the thing that I want you to know is that it is completely your choice who you share with and who you don't share with. So, depending on who asks you these things, you might want to come out and say to them, well, it's actually been a really difficult year and you've triggered me right now by asking this question. Or you might want to say to them, thank you for your concern. We are actually trying and we haven't had such a good time. You might want to say to them, it's absolutely none of your business and please don't ask me that again. Or you might want to say to them something like similarly inappropriate, like, how is your prostate today? Ask them, how much money have you got in your bank account right now? What religion do you follow? Because to me, that is similarly, whether you intend it or not, that is just as upsetting and inappropriate a question to ask. Your feelings are valid, my darling. People that ask these questions, for the absolute most part, don't know how insensitive they're being. But that doesn't mean that it's okay for them to keep doing it. So, whatever you think is right, if this happens to you, you do it and know that your feelings are absolutely valid. A couple of tips that I would have for you are think about before you go out, think about what your answer is going to be. I know that I suggested some kind of cheeky ones that might suit you, that might not suit you, but before you go out, think about what you feel is an appropriate response and practice it in your head. It might be that you just want a distraction technique, it might be that you just want a brush off, but practice in your head what you're going to say. If you're going out with your partner, your husband, your wife, or a friend who knows what's going on, do not hesitate to ask them to have your back as well. Okay? That might mean keeping an eye on you and making sure that you don't get cornered by that pain in the arse auntie. Or it might mean just staying with you all night. Excuse me while I plug in. Didn't realise I wasn't plugged in. Okay, I think we're plugged in. It might mean them jumping in and answering that horrible question for you if someone asks you that question. So you think about what is going to make this less painful for you. Talk to them, have your army around you, and you do what is right for you. You can fight other people's battles if you want. So you can take a stand and start educating people if you want to, that this isn't an appropriate question. This can be very triggering. If you don't want to, you don't have to. You can just very politely change the subject and move on. You're having a shit time. You do what works for you, my darlings. All right. The other thing I would say as well is if you're going out with a partner, and this doesn't necessarily just apply tonight, but if you are in a relationship and you're trying to conceive, if you haven't already, it's always a really good idea to check in with your partner before you leave to see if they have told anyone who's going to be in the group, and just have a bit of a check in for both of you about who knows and who might ask about your journey, just so that you're both going in armed, because there's nothing worse than being blindsided by finding out that someone knows about your personal business and you didn't know that they did. So that's just a good idea for like self-preservation and self-protection. Okay. The last thing I want to talk about is our own intrusive thoughts. Okay, so other people's opinions are very easily batted back, aren't they? But what about the things that we tell ourselves? These things, if they go unchecked, they can become very, very real, can't they? So I'm talking about the really horrible things that we might say to ourselves, like, I'll never be a mum. I don't deserve this. This is my fault because I had a termination. This is my fault because I smoked. This is my fault because my mum told me to try and have a baby earlier, but I prioritised my career. So let's just take a minute and acknowledge those thoughts, because see, when they stay in our heads unacknowledged, they can become very real and they can become fact in our mind. But when we acknowledge them and when we say them out loud or when we share them with other people, that's when they start to lose their power. So I'm going to suggest anyone who's watching this right now who's battling with intrusive thoughts, do a very quick exercise that I have my clients do on a regular basis. And that is literally to get a piece of paper out, get a pen out, set a timer for 5 minutes, and scribble down all of these intrusive thoughts. Literally write them down. And that's going to be painful. Okay? One side of the page, I'm too fat to have a baby. What makes you think this is going to work this time? All of these horrible things that we wouldn't dare let anyone say to people that we care about, but that we freely and willy-nilly say to ourselves in our head, rent-free. Let's get them out. Okay? And then once you've written them all out, I want you to set another timer for 5 minutes, and I want you to go through each one and literally physically write down why that is not the case, why this is not the end of the world, end of the road for you. So maybe at the top here you've got, I'm too fat to have a baby. The response to that could be, I have time, I am already working on my health, I am getting better every day. The next one might be, I've already lost a baby. What makes me think that it's not going to happen again? Over here, you might write, I'm changing my supplements, I'm managing my nutrition, I'm working with my doctor, I'm getting better every day. There's no reason to believe that this is going to happen again. Okay? I had a termination when I was 20. I deserve this. response. This is absolute nonsense. This is absolute bullshit. Choices I made when I was 20 make they've got no influence on my chances of conceiving today. I did what I did at the time because it was right. I used to smoke. I don't smoke anymore. I have stopped smoking. So I want you to do that exercise, and I would love, love, love anyone who's feeling brave enough to share that exercise as well. But as the day gets difficult, as time gets difficult, as these intrusive thoughts come back to you, what I'd love to see or love you to do is to repeat your responses to yourself. Okay? This is us getting cognitive. This is us taking control of our own thoughts, our own neural pathways. We're not letting this nasty bitch of an inner critic be in charge anymore. We are saying, no, this is my brain, this is my head space. I control what goes on here. I am improving every day. I am working on things every day. I am in charge. I am taking control. All right. So this has been quite a big one today. It's been pretty intense, and I do not apologise for that because I truly, truly, truly think a lot of us needed to hear this today. I hope you found it useful. Please comment below with any questions. As always, any observations, any agreements, any disagreements that you might have, and please continue to support each other. Thank you so much for being in this community this year. I can't tell you how much it means to me. Thank you for showing support to each other, for showing your own vulnerability. And I wish you all a brilliant, brilliant time tonight. And I cannot wait to get to know you all better in the new year. Lots and lots of love to you all. Bye bye.